Okay, so welcome everyone to this session on maintaining your library collection in EBSCOadmin and Holdings Management. So that's the tool that we're looking at today. So just to fully introduce myself, I'm Richard Crooks. I work for the EBSCO Customer Trade Services team. I know perhaps many of you have been on my sessions in the past or met me in person. But just to clarify, I've been with EBSCO now for over 14 years, previously working as a librarian in the NHS and also related roles about 12 years. So I typically support library services and users where appropriate across the UK, Ireland, and the Nordics. So thanks for joining this session this afternoon. So in terms of the agenda, we'll look at, again, a reminder what is Vortex Finder, particularly for those of you maybe new to this, maybe you're just starting out in NHS library services, maybe you've been delegated responsibility for certain features or functionality. So again, this may be something you want to know more about. Holdings management particularly, we're focused on today, and there will be a demonstration of how to maintain your collection through that tool, and also managing content, of course, specifically, and also what support materials are available going forward post-session as well. So in terms of the actual training objectives, my hope is that by the end of the session, you'll be able to describe the purposes of Vortex Finder and EBSCOadmin Holdings Management. Again, some of you are here for a refresher. You know that already, but others may be new. And also for those who may be accessing the recording at a later date as well. You'll be able to navigate within Holdings Management, so you know the various features, areas you need to go to make changes, update content, etc. And with that, you'll be able to add and remove managed and custom resources from your holdings. So I know that's a big thing. And again, I'll make a distinction between the two types of resources that are accessible or manageable through this service. And also the options to download and upload portions of your holdings. I'll briefly touch on that during this session. And again, reminder that there is support information available from our EBSCO Connect portal. So I hope that's what you're expecting from this session. I know some want to start from the beginning, which we will, because I've just been refreshed in terms of how to maintain your collection. So first of all then, what is Vortex Finder? So Vortex Finder is kind of the overarching service that we refer to. So it consists of Holdings Management, which we'll look at today, of course. That is the back end, Publication Finder, which is the front end. And of course, there's also the Vortex Finder link resolver, all of which can enhance the journal and where appropriate ebook discovery for your users. So as you can appreciate, it's integrated with the NHS Knowledge and Library Hub, otherwise known as the EBSCO Discovery Service or EDS, and that will provide fast and reliable access to Vortex content, to journals, publications, etc. With this, you have seamless Vortex access, so connecting users directly to Vortex. And also with Publication Finder, there's the option to browse subjects as well, and the built-in search to find relevant titles. So you can do keyword searching for titles within publication titles, within Discovery, within the Hub, and also within the Publication Finder service as well. And of course, it's powered by the EBSCO knowledge base. So we have millions of publication details that can be accessible through the Holdings Management tool, which can then mean that your resources are discoverable to your end user once you've selected them through Holdings Management. Okay, so taking these in turn, so Holdings and Linking Management is where we're going to spend the majority of time on. This is the element within EBSCOadmin that is used to manage the Vortex Finder collection. So if you've got admin access, if you do not see it Holdings Management, then that simply needs to be enabled for you. And I'll say so about that as we go to EBSCOadmin Live shortly. So here you can add, update, remove, manage, and custom resources. I'll say more about the difference between the two shortly. So that means you can add those resources or remove them from your collection using the knowledge base. You can also edit coverage dates as well to reflect your actual holdings. So you may need to edit those from time to time, and also manage your Vortex Finder link resolver targets. So where the link resolver Vortex Finder is going to go to direct users to the appropriate full text article, etc. So this is the dashboard. This is one for our demonstration site, and we'll go there live shortly. But again, if you've got access to Holdings Management, you will see the tab across the top toolbar. If you don't see that, it simply means it needs to be enabled for you, and that maybe your library manager or site administrator where you are needs to set that for you. In some cases, I know none of you may be delegated responsibility for this particular area in terms of the library service. So again, that can be done through the various roles that are assigned in our EBSCOadmin security settings, which I'll go to shortly in the live demonstration. So you do get a snapshot of your library holdings through this dashboard within EBSCOadmin. So eadmin.ebscos.com is the place to go to. So just to say a bit about the difference between managed and custom resources then, just to distinguish the two. So managed titles or in packages are resources available in the knowledge base which are maintained by EBSCO. In other words, these are packages, titles that are discoverable within Holdings Management. So when you do a keyword search or when you look at packages, you'll see that data already included. So EBSCO maintains all those details, and that includes the URL, the publisher details, the serial number, the book number, subject, managed coverage, etc. So EBSCO manages that. So any changes to the link to the URL, coverage dates are made by EBSCO and are automatically reflected on your full text finder profile. Okay, so this is again content originating from the knowledge base, and all managed resources can be added or removed from your collection using the Holdings Management title search or the upload feature in EBSCOadmin. So we'll look at that in the live demonstration. Now, custom resources are those that you would add yourself. Either you can add them manually, one by one, or you can upload a batch of resources. So these are typically where individual items are not selectable through Holdings Management, that you may search them, you may not find the data for that publication, that journal, or that book, whatever it might be, particularly to print titles. So print titles are custom resources that you can upload to the interface, as it were. So you can add individual items via the custom resources link on either the overview page, which you just saw on the screenshot, or the title subtab, or by including them in your next upload. So you can upload a spreadsheet of titles, custom titles that you want users to be aware of, that you access them, that you have access to them. So there could be a print collection, for example, and you want to make them aware that they are still available within the library. So resources added that are considered custom titles are ones which you would maintain all of the desired details, and that includes the coverage dates, the subject fields, any linking as well. So essentially then, any information on custom titles must be maintained by an administrator. So it could be yourself or it could be a colleague, etc. So with that in view, there is a caveat for this as well, because since some custom resources, you need to add certain titles, packages as custom resources, it may well be that there are other libraries out there within the NHS that also could benefit from those resources being part of the managed collection. So you can actually make a request for this. We have a knowledge base inquiry form that you can select, and I'll show you where you can get access to it. And that allows you to contact the EBSCO content team to request a new managed resource, or maybe a general inquiry about some of the titles that you're selecting, maybe not clear which one it should be, etc. Then there is this knowledge base inquiry form for our content team to look into once you've contacted them, and you can upload files or screenshots through this tool as well. So at the moment, it may be that that resource, that particular publication is a custom resource. It's not available through the knowledge base. However, you can request that it will be added. So again, EBSCO could look into that to see the viability of adding additional content. So again, there's a link within EBSCOadmin, within Holdings Management, to request a new managed resource, etc. Okay, and again, it can also be used as a general inquiry form as well. In terms of the front end functionality, then you'll see a screenshot here of the Knowledge Library Hub. And if you begin searching or entering a search, then it will bring up this autocomplete feature. It will provide you with popular searches, which are basically generated from logs from across the globe. But the main thing here is to focus on the publications, because the publications listed here will reflect your own holdings. So this is a screenshot from NHS England, but if it's your trust that you're going into, then publications listed there will reflect what you actually have access to. And that could include not only the national subscriptions from the core content, but also your own regional and local subscriptions. So that would reflect what users can access through your trust library service, as it were. So when you do select a title, in this case, the British Journal of Occupational Therapy, a placard will appear above the result list. So when a user is essentially looking for a journal, that's what they want to get to. They're not interested in the results that relate to the keywords you've entered. They're really looking for the publication. So it's quite intuitive to use. It will bring up a placard when there's an exact match. And also within that placard, there may also be there'll be the option to search within the publication itself as well. So it's a really quick way to get to the journal title. And of course, there are other means to do that as well. And that includes going directly to publications A to Z. So that's the link you see highlighted under Search Tools on the left-hand panel. That in turn will then take you, as you might expect, to Publication Finder or Publications A to Z, which is the A to Z journal service essentially from EBSCO. Now, Publication Finder also includes ebooks potentially and other media as well. It's not limited to e-journals only. But you'll see here, we've got the search box there for keyword searching, and there are a variety of ways to search, including title, subject, ISSN as well. And then you have the options to browse. You have the subjects browse option there, so that you can see a range of titles related to a given subject area, so health and medicine and so on. So again, if a user is curious, they want to see the relevant journals in relation, for example, to oncology or cancer, they can check those titles by the subject browse. So in terms of the hub itself, we also have access to browsing. You also have access to browsing through the Browse Journals link. So just so you have publication A to Z for Publication Finder, you've also got access to Third Iron's browsing service as well. So that will then take you to their page, their homepage there, and then you can browse the various subject areas to be directed to the appropriate journals that they provide. So again, just to clarify, with Publication Finder, that includes other media besides journals. With browsing, you are looking at journals only, okay? But then a link there to Third Iron service. So that is just a brief review of those elements. In terms of the link resolver, so this is a vendor-neutral open URL link resolver. So it controls the item-level linking between various services, such as e-journal sites, full text, and secondary databases. So it's an alternative way to get to the full text where you cannot find it through EBSCO's full text, or get PDF from LibKey, etc., from browsing, from Third Iron. And you'll notice that within the hub is designated access items. So there has been some rebranding, as you would have appreciated over the years, of various elements of the hub itself. So as just mentioned, get PDF refers to LibKey Nomad. Access item refers to full text finder. Okay, and so you'll see it on this page. If you look at the results here shown, when you come to access options, you'll be presented with potentially a couple of access points. It could be more than that, but in this screenshot, it shows you LibKey into the PDF. So that's the LibKey Nomad link resolver, and also access item, which is full text finder. So again, they are differentiated, but they are both link resolvers, giving users the opportunity to get to the full text through one or the other. So that's just a brief recap review of the EBSCOadmin element, the backend element of full text finder, and also the front end through the Discovery Search Author Knowledge and Library Hub, as you know it as. So we'll just look at that briefly again in the live demonstration before spending the majority of time in Holdings Management. So I'm going to now switch screens here. And in a moment, you should come to the Knowledge and Library Hub. So again, we've got the option to search for titles here. So again, use the example that we saw in the demo. If I start typing here, I'm not sure why that's not showing initially. Let me just try this again. Let me go back. Let me just type this, finish this off actually. So you see, when I didn't complete that, I end up with a list of results related to British Journal of Occupational. What I went to put in is occupational therapy, and now you see the placard above the result list. So again, you click through to the journal to look at the data there, or you can simply enter a search within this particular publication and search directly within that. So again, you can enter a term here, whatever it might be. So for example, for like hand therapy, then the results would appear within the hub from within that particular journal, and you can see the journal cover for each of the results as well. So again, fairly intuitive. To enter a journal publication, when there's an exact match, you will be presented with that placard by the result list, and you will then be able to access that content. Okay. Now, I mentioned publications A to Z, so that's on the left-hand column here, just to show that live. And you'll see here, again, this should reflect the screenshot you saw earlier. So you have various ways to search within this publication finder service, and the alpha menu, and the ability to browse as well. So if I just click through to that, you'll see we've got medicine and health sciences, and it gives you the total number of journals assigned this subject category. So it's 6,000 or 7,000, and then you can drill down to various titles. For example, again, the cancer journals are here, and you see you've got aging, cancer, etc., CNS, oncology, and so on. Okay, and you could filter using the available filters on the left as well. Okay, so just a reminder of publications A to Z. And if we go back, again, you'll find the link to browsing, browse journals. And then you see again the browse subjects feature for this particular service, nursing allied health, for example. And you see the nursing allied health titles. And you can go into them, for example, this one, addiction, and view the various issues there. So that's obviously the front end. And obviously the key thing here is that you want to make sure that your collection is up to date, it's current, it's reflecting what your users should see, etc. Okay. Now, one thing to note here as well, I'll just point this out to you. Again, this is part of maintaining your collection, making sure that what's discoverable is appropriate to your users. If I got to new search, just run a sample search here. So I'm just going to enter a search here, and I'm going to put in, let's see, let's put in colorectal cancer. Let's just about kind of bowel cancer screening. So what I'm going to just show you here is the content provider filter, which highlights where content is coming from. And the reason I show you this because it will reflect what subscriptions you have, which databases you have, and whether or not you've upgraded those databases. So if I click all filters here, you'll see we've got content provider. And again, so you may be very familiar with this. And you can see here, since this is NHS England, there's Medline, of course, the abstract index only version, and also CINAHL. Okay, now you should see those at the very least, but if you've upgraded to Medline Complete or Medline Ultimate, likewise CINAHL Ultimate, CINAHL Complete, those databases, those versions should be reflected in this column. Okay, so I've seen instances in the past, and it is some time ago, where I've seen both CINAHL and CINAHL Ultimate or Medline and Medline Complete. So again, you should only have one version of those databases showing in this column. Okay, and then ultimately you want the best available version. So if you have upgraded to CINAHL Ultimate, then you need to make sure that CINAHL is not showing, but CINAHL Ultimate is in this list. Okay, so just a reminder of that, and I will go now to EBSCOadmin to show you where you can see that. So just go to the tab here, and I'm on this demo site at the moment currently, and in this regard, we would need to go to the appropriate profile. So we've got EBSCO host research database showing here. So I would go to the discovery profile. For you, it'd be the knowledge and library hub. Okay, so that will be slightly different rendering there, but it will be the knowledge and library hub. And then below that, you'll find the databases subtab. Okay, and this will give you what's kind of accessible through this particular service. Okay, so you can see, for example, this demonstration site has CINAHL Complete, not CINAHL shown. So that's on. Okay, so what you typically need to do is obviously add the database that should be showing. So for example, if you upgraded from CINAHL Complete to CINAHL Ultimate, then you would need to disable this one. So switch that one off. Okay, like so. You would then go in and you would submit that. Okay. And then if you go into, that's going to refresh in a moment, into show disabled databases, you would then need to find CINAHL Ultimate. Just wait for that to complete. So we'll do a search for that now. I'll do it in the description. So I'll put CINAHL Ultimate. Okay. And you see it here. So on and submit. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for that to finish. Complete. And then if I go now to enabled, you'll see CINAHL Ultimate is now showing. Okay, so it's simply a case of switching one off and switching one on. So as long as you know you've got access to the appropriate database, then you can enable that. And likewise, you've got Medline here. So if you have Medline Ultimate, you disable this one and ensure that Medline Complete Ultimate, whichever version you've got, other Medline is showing. Okay, so again, you can enable that as needed. So just a reminder about that to ensure that your users are accessing the correct version of either of those databases or any others that you may have switched to, upgraded to, etc. Okay, so we're now going to go to just EBSCOadmin security. So this is important because just to highlight where you can access the various elements of EBSCOadmin. So I've got my colleagues here from customer success, and we'll go into one of these accounts here. I'll go to this one, the demo one, for the roles. And for any administrator, they will have certain roles. You may be the lead administrator, the site administrator, in which case you probably have right access to most of these roles, including authentication, customized services, and of course, EBSCOadmin security, which also means that you can delegate other administrators as well. The key one I want to point out, though, is this holdings and link management, which is read-only. So read-only is not available. It's either write access, which means you can make changes to it, which means you can maintain the collection through holdings management, or none. So in other words, if you come to EBSCOadmin and you do not see holdings management, it means that you only have, it's set to none, not write access. So if as a site administrator, you want to delegate responsibility for your colleague or colleagues, then you can go into their account or you can assign it from these roles that we saw earlier on this page and set it to write access. Okay. If you need to add someone else, again, if you've got EBSCOadmin security, then you've got the option to add a new administrator, and you would add them as a site administrator, for example, and choose the site, etc. The name will be their name, full name, user ID, initial surname, perhaps, and email address. You can then submit that and they'll be notified and then can set up a password for access. So that means you can delegate responsibility. And once you do that, you can assign roles to certain people. Okay, so for example, going back in again, just to highlight this, it may be that certain ones may not have access to authentication. So you could set that to none or possibly read only. Likewise, with customized services, you may not want them to change anything. So again, with the hub itself, by the way, we're not expecting you to make changes to the interface as such, because a lot of what's there has been agreed at national level. But obviously, in terms of the content, you will need to make changes or maintain that as much as possible. So again, this is just a point of making. The point of making is that you can configure the roles for other administrators as to what they should or should not have access to. And again, in this context, it's really holdings and link management. Okay. So again, once that's enabled, that will be visible in the tab, and we'll go there now. Okay, so just to recap there, really. So this is the dashboard for this account. So you'll see we've got these tiles here across the center. So it gives us, you know, a summary of the unique titles, those that are managed and those that are custom, which I explained earlier. The actual holdings here, and you can see 99% of the ones in this collection are managed. In other words, they've been selected directly through holdings management. They've not been added manually or uploaded. And then your packages. So you can click through to these. For example, holdings here, it will give you the complete listing of holdings. So there's a lot of them, of course. So you can see them listed here. And if you go back and you want to see the packages that are currently selected for your account, then you go to the packages tile here, click through to that, and you can see the AZ listing of packages. Okay. So you can see these are selected. And one thing to note with these packages, you can see the kind of type that they are. You'll see some are complete, some are variable. Typically, if it's complete, you would get the entire listing of those packages. Occasionally, you'll find there are variations. So variable means that typically you may not get them all, but complete would mean, for example, this Academy Management Archive, there are 6 available titles and there are 6 selected here. Okay, but there may be differences. And obviously, this is a demonstration site. So I know my colleagues have been playing with this for some time, making changes, etc. Okay, so again, this just gives you a snapshot of what's available or what's accessible currently within the collection. Again, it will differ. And you've got options to break it down to, for example, you can look at the source type. So you can see the different source types, the majority being, in this case, actually books, some reason. And then there's also what's visible, what's hidden. So there may be instances that titles are hidden, for example. Perhaps there's some issues with the linking. Maybe you're unsure whether you should still subscribe to that title. So there are ways to hide content, as we'll see. So you can see the proportions. So 26% of this collection is currently hidden. It doesn't mean it's not selected within Holdings Management. It just means it's not visible to the end user when they access either through Publication Finder or using the Full Text Finder link resolver. It depends on how it's been hidden, by the way, as well. Packages, again, you can see the package content type. So 18% are aggregated full text databases. You've got 31% are ebooks, 29% are e-journals, and so on. Okay, so this just gives you an overview of the collection. Okay, so if you are looking to add or select from the knowledge base initially, then you can search via titles. You've got the search box here, or go directly to titles, and then you can enter in a journal title. Now, as you enter the title, double check this one, then you'll see the autocomplete feature brings up a list of titles. So we have the metadata for all these titles, and then you select the appropriate one, and it'll bring up the titles. Now, it will show you by title order, but because we're looking at the Journal of Advanced Nursing, we need to go to relevance here. And now you'll see that. Okay, now at the moment, what we're seeing is this journal that has been selected from these packages, so primarily widely online. However, we can see also what is not selected or what is selected and not selected. So you can look at both. So if you're unsure whether a title has been selected in relation to a particular publisher package, then you can see that. And if it isn't selected, you can add it. So you'll also see on the right-hand column, we have this visibility hidden. So you can see this one is hidden. So it's not visible in Publication Finder. You cannot generate the mark export. And also this one is hidden from the link resolver, which means that Journal of Advanced Nursing through this package could not be seen or would not be seen from the end user, either if they are searching through the hub itself, if this is the hub, the back end of the hub, as it were, or through Publication Finder. Okay, so again, there are different ways to hide this. You'll also notice on this page, there is an asterisk next to certain titles here, and the blue asterisk indicates that the coverage dates have been customized. They've been edited from the original managed custom date. Okay. Just looking at this page as well, you can see again the details. You've got the package name, of course. You've got the coverage dates I mentioned, the vendor, the package type, and then whether it's selected or not. Now, you can, from this page, add directly as you might expect. So, for example, this one here, you can select this title to add it to the collection, which means it will be visible to Publication Finder and also accessible through the link resolver. Or you can select the entire package. So there is a lot of flexibility with this service. Even in looking for a title, and you come to a title and you realize it's not yet selected, it should be. Not only can you select the individual title, you can select the entire package relating to that particular title. So again, it could be the individual title you're adding, or it could be the complete package. So you don't need to go to the packages search to look it up. You can do it from here as well. Okay. Let's see. We've got this one here. So we just click on this link here to this package, and this is where this journal is coming from. And you'll see here it's selected. And with that, this is where you can select the hide feature. Okay, so this is saying all titles in this package are currently hidden. Okay, so you've done hide that package, but it has not yet been hidden in Full Text Finder. So again, you can select that option. Okay. Now, one thing about these pages, once you've selected them, there is the preview option, and that will give you the preview of what users should see when they click through to it. So if you're coming through with Publication Finder, they should be directed to this page, as you see here. So we know if that page is showing, then it has been set up correctly. Okay, so the preview option is just to reassure you that what users are seeing is what you should be seeing. You can see here the custom coverage dates. This is the managed one. This has not been changed yet, but you can, of course, add an end date if it has one. And it does allow you also to add further dates as well, especially if you're a breaking subscription, then that will be reflected in the coverage display below. So for example, if I was to go in and end this on the 4th of February and then restart for this journal in August, say, we're not there yet, of course, but you'll see the coverage display reflects that customized coverage. Okay, so the split in coverage is indicated, and that will be shown to the end user. Okay, now the dates showing at the moment are in US format in EBSCOadmin, but providing the settings are correct for the hub and publication finder, which they should be for the hub itself, then they will be shown in the UK date format. So by default, date formats are shown in the US style, month, day, and year, not what we're used to in the UK. Okay. And once these items have been selected, you'll see the links are also generated. I'm just going to discard this for now. And you can see we have got this link here. Okay. So one thing to note, when you're selecting titles from the Holdings Management tool, it's going to generate the links for you. And again, because it's managed, EBSCO will maintain that linking, as it were, to ensure it's up to date and so on. If we just go into, let's go into our package. One of the key things, of course, is finding the package that's most appropriate to you. I know there's some questions about where there are new packages and how to identify them. So there are different ways to do that. I'm going to look at some Wiley ones here, if I get the right one. Wiley line. And I'm just going to go for e-journals here. So you can filter by e-journal, etc. Again, whether it's selected or otherwise. And I'm just going to go from here. Okay. So I'm just going to look for the one actually nursing. So you can see different Wiley online library packages there, but I want to go to one nursing. So there's library nursing, and I don't remember the right title now. So let me just go through this. Let's see. Put in nursing here. Okay. So just to point out here, so you'll see these ones here. For example, Wiley Online Library Medicine and Nursing 2016. We've got 2024 here, 2023. So again, if you've identified, you're aware of this package already, and you have subscription to it, but you've updated it, then you want to make sure that you're viewing the current one. Okay, so if you were, 2023 should be replaced by 2024, and obviously we'll be looking for 2026, as it were. So we go through this listing here, and obviously you'll find what is appropriate here. So again, it's a case of selecting the most current package, and you will see differences between them. So if I just go back a page here, and now you can see 2025 is here, right? So again, you see there's 438 e-journals for the Wiley Online Library Medicine and Nursing collection, whereas before, if you go to 2024, it's still 438. So not much change there, the same quantity of journals. And if you want to review those titles, then you can go into the package itself. And then you can see the titles tab is given, and that will give you the listing of titles. And of course, it does mean you can go in and select individual titles. Obviously, you can select the package itself. So here, you're actually only selecting the titles, but obviously from the previous list, you would select that package to ensure that everything is selected there. Okay, so if I go back, okay, and I did see this earlier. Where was it again? Let me go back forward again. Actually, there's 2026 there now, so you can see that's 434. So there's like 4 being removed for whatever reason, compared to the previous year subscription, as it were. So again, this is the most recent one, and you would expect that to be selected. And of course, you can remove the package from here as well if you no longer have access to that. Okay, so if you had 2025 on, then you could, you would then select, if it says selected, you would select remove, and also click to add. Okay, so just the clarification there, or making sure that you've got the appropriate subscription selected there, and the other one would be then removed. You would have both showing at the same time for your end users. So I mentioned, going back again, the addition of content as well. So apart from selecting from the knowledge base, as we saw with titles and also with packages, we do have the option to create a custom resource. So you can see there are two options under quick actions. Create custom resource. This is where you would add your own individual title. So again, it could be a print title, for example, or it simply is something that you cannot find in the knowledge base at this time. So you could add the title name. Now, for each thing you add, each resource you add, it must be assigned to a package. So again, you may need to create the custom package first, or you can add one on the fly. So you can, again, select the option to create a new package. So here, and just add that there. So for example, if I wanted to add, I don't know, let's put medical, let's put nursing and midwifery as a title, right? I put that in, and midwifery, sorry. If this was to be a title I wanted to add as customer source, midwifery, not wifery, then I would add, I just put nursing print titles, for example, or print collection. So I do it in this way. So I'm adding the title, I'm assigning it to a new custom package, as opposed to selecting from this list where others have already added them. So if I had created this package previously, for example, nursing, I could simply add it to this collection and I don't need to, fulfill this one. So I can assign it to this package. I can indicate it's peer reviewed, the resource type, it's a journal, etc., or it might be a book even, and then the publisher and so on, etc. Okay, and I can add any coverage date. So if it is a journal, of course, then I would be looking at adding coverage dates here as well. So it could be from, say, 2017 to, let's go for March 2025. And then we resumed this year, okay, in January. Okay, and again, those coverage dates are reflected here. Okay. Instead, if you prefer, you can add a coverage statement. So again, it could be, for example, print collection, print title, available from the library. Okay, so you can add a coverage statement if you wish, etc., and any other details you want to add there, and then you would save this. Okay, so this would then ensure it's accessible or at least identifiable within Publication Finder, etc. Okay, so shown to your end user. So again, that's a customer source. You may want to, and I'm going to discard that now. You may want to instead do the first step, which is to create the custom package here. So again, you could give it a name, so nursing and midwifery. The package name, it could be the same. The display name could be the same, or it could be different. It could be N&M, example. So you can choose that. It's not mandatory, of course. It would default to this package name. And again, you would choose, for example, content type, or it could be print here. And then you can add the association. So it could be, let's see here. It's interesting. I've not seen this part before, so this is probably new to me as well as it is to you. So you would choose any association there. I'm not sure if you can. Let me see if I can do for nursing. Yeah. So for example, nursing, you can see I can choose this one. And then the description, custom URL if appropriate, and also custom coverage if appropriate. So again, this is for adding the custom package. So again, whether you add the title first and then create the package, you can do it that way, or if preferred, you create the custom package and then you can select it from that list that we saw here. So again, it's quite flexible. If anyone remembers the old EBSCO A to Z service, it was pretty flexible. You had to follow a certain format, but here you have some flexibility. So again, you can select from there. So when you are looking at content here, I'll just go back to, for example, the titles page. You will see we have got this reference to create a customer source. So if you look for something, it doesn't appear. I'll see if this doesn't appear. Right, it does, which, yeah, you'll find anyway interesting things appearing even using my name there. But if you're searching and you can't find what you're looking for, then obviously click create customer source and you can add it. As I mentioned, there's also the knowledge base inquiry form. You'll see here, request a new managed resource. If you click on that link, again, having not found the item you're looking for, which means you would then need to add it as a custom resource or custom package, you can actually make a request for this to be included. So again, you can create a new resource or create a new package. Okay, so again, update existing resource, create a new resource. So again, you're saying we have access to this publication. We can't find that in Holdings Management. So could you not have this added to the knowledge base, and we can then select it? And also it means other library services would be able to access it. Okay, and you can see the mandatory fields. So your name, email address, obviously institution. Obviously it helps if you know the customer ID. If you don't know that, it's fine, it's not mandatory. But again, you need to specify the request type, and it could be a general content inquiry. It may be, I'm still not sure which package I should be subscribing to here. Could you give me some advice on this, etc. But if you are submitting a request for a resource, then obviously there's things like the custom URL, the publisher. Also, you can attach files for a combined total of 25 megabytes. So you may have some screenshots of the title, the resource that you want to have added, or you're trying to upload, etc. So for more information that our content team can respond to. Okay, so that's a useful way to inquire. You don't have to submit the inquiry through EBSCO Connect as you would for service issues, other technical issues. Obviously, for those, since you're in the NHS in England, you have the service desk, of course. You can raise tickets there, but obviously specifically related to Holdings Management, you can raise, make a request here. And if you go to packages as well, the same here, request a new managed package. It's the same inquiry form. So this time we're looking at a new package as opposed to just a title. And again, you can request this, a new package will be created. Okay, so again, it could be a series of titles that are associated with a particular package, but they're not showing or not available through Holdings Management. Okay, so it just depends on the metadata we have from publishers, and we have millions of publications accessible through the knowledge base, but obviously it doesn't mean you'll find everything that you need. Okay. One other thing, of course, is if it's easier, you can also, and I will show you about the upload feature in a moment as well, the vendors tab as well. So you can go through and explore different vendors. And of course, you can actually search them by name. So for example, if we put, let's go for Elsevier. Elsevier, how do I spell this now? Is that right? No, not sorry, not vendor here. I didn't mean that one. Let's just write EBSCO for now. Okay, so again, you can see a vendor, you can see the packages that are available through the knowledge base. So EBSCO provides 754, of which 280 have been selected in this particular account. There's also open access packages, 25 available and 4 have been selected. So you can click through to the vendor name. So it could be EBSCO, it could be ProQuest, it could be Ovid, etc. And then you go to the tab and you'll see the various packages. And as you can see here, not all are selected. So again, 280 of this list have been selected and they're clearly designated. If you select not selected, it will deselect that, okay, that package as it were. And of course, if you want to add the package, you would simply click on the arrow and choose selected. Okay, so you can view what has been selected on this list, or conversely, what has not been selected if you need to add any others here. Okay. So if you want to, again, look at another provider, I'll be there this time. Again, 5 out of 748. If you go into the vendor name, go to the tab, and then you can select from here or see what is currently selected from this account. Now, this account is a customer success demo account, so it shouldn't reflect necessarily what you have locally or even nationally in England, but it gives you an idea of what to expect. Okay, and notice when these pages are selected, the links are generated as they're part of the knowledge base or from the knowledge base. So the links will be generated. And if you are curious as to where you can find more information about the links available, then they are also displayed on the top right there. And you'll see for each of these, you'll see, for example, BMJ Publishing. You'll see the various packages. So obviously, BMJ Publishing Group is the vendor. We've got access to 2 of the packages through this particular account. So these links have been assigned to those packages, which means they've also been assigned to these titles. Okay, so that would be automatically once you select from the knowledge base. Again, you can look into the details of the page and you see the link text that would show in relation to this particular vendor. Horror text, so these could be overwritten. So we're not getting into too much detail about these. Again, there are some changes there. And of course, for the hub itself, the links have been pretty much obviously identified and also rendered in a certain way. So as I mentioned, Full-Text Finder is detailed as access item, and you have libkey instant PDF, for example, for libkey Nomad as well. Okay, so I did mention you also have the possibility of uploading or downloading and uploading content. So if rather than look online, you want to download and view your current subscriptions offline, as it were, the ones that are managed through this collection, then you can select the download option and you see the various file types are available. There is a context-sensitive help menu here to help you understand what you're looking at and how to go about that. And then also you can choose the CSV format tab limited, and also the resources. So if you want a review of what managed resources are currently selected, etc., then you can go for that option. If you want to see custom, then you can, if you've uploaded a batch, not to uploading in a moment, then you can also download the current list of custom titles. So obviously by default, it's managed and custom. So essentially everything. You can go for the content type. So maybe it's just e-journals you want to look at. You can search for package names. So for example, if I put in Science Direct, then you can see here, we've got this list here, and you can add that, and then you can download that list only, okay, for your web collection. Now, what you'll also notice here, besides resource types as well, we also have visibility. So again, this is quite handy because, as I said earlier, there are cases where content has been hidden. Maybe it's by a predecessor, maybe it's in relation to linking not working, maybe you're still unsure about the subscription to that, if it's continued or not, been renewed, then you can specify, from the download, what items have been hidden. Maybe they're only hidden in Publication Finder, for example, but it could be Full-Text Finder link resolver as well. So that means you can download a spreadsheet detailing what is currently hidden. So if you feel there's a lot of content there, especially when you go to the home page and you get that snapshot, then you can see, well, actually what has been hidden, and then you can explore why that's been hidden. So you can download that here, access all holdings, or you can just download holdings in Publication Finder, etc. Okay, so you can quickly verify what is currently not seen by users, as it were. So still selected in Holdings Management, but not visible to the end user. And of course, once you've decided the parameters in terms of what you're going to download, then you'd create the file name and then create the file for download. Once that's ready, that will be displayed in the View All Downloads tab. And you can see some examples of ones that have been downloaded. You can get the title list, and also you can just download from here. So again, you create the file for download, and then it's populated in the View All Downloads tab, and then you can download that spreadsheet to review the content. So again, if you're looking at checking your collection for its currency, etc., then you can do that there. Just going back to that again, if there's anything else I missed here, I don't think I did. So again, yeah, so you can specify certain packages you want to look for. Again, it could be a custom package. So if I put in prints here, or nursing was one of them. So I think that should show up. Yeah, so you've got these are custom packages that my colleagues have set up for demonstrations, etc. So if we want to look at what was in the nursing package, we can add this, and then we could say it's journal, for example. I can then give it a file name, say nursing 2026, and I create the file for download here. And you can see that's now pending. Okay. So once that's completed, again, I don't know how many titles are assigned to that package. I can then, it will switch to download, and I have the link there to download that content from there. Okay, so it's a download. So I click download, and I'm not sure what I'll get here. And I have to save the file, just save it here and open that up and see if there's anything in there. In fact, there's nothing in there. It's just a blank spreadsheet. But show what it looks like, you'll get this. Okay, but there's no data there, so nothing to show. But again, very straightforward in terms of being able to access offline, once it's processed, your collection. And as I mentioned, apart from creating a customer source or package, you can upload as well. So again, click upload here, and then you can upload holdings files here. And there is the documentation available through this page. So you can upload up to a file size of 2 GB, by the way. And you'll see the help documentation is available through EBSCO Connect. So it gives you further instruction, including the file type requirements, okay, and also the required columns. So there is a spreadsheet that you can download from here. So the Excel spreadsheet. Now, I know historically we did have one specifically amended for the NHS. I need to check whether we still have that or it's still needed. Otherwise, you have this spreadsheet. So this is a blank spreadsheet. But in terms of what you need to add to upload content, so again, this relates to custom packages or resources you want to upload, then you've got the details here in terms of the required columns, etc., and so on. Okay, and again, there's another page here for supported column headings, and it gives you the description. And if you see the double asterisk, these are mandatory. So a title obviously is important. The package name it's assigned to. So again, if you're uploading print titles, it may be just print collection 2026, for example. And then you have the other elements, publisher, and so on. So again, you would populate the spreadsheet with those details. And the other end, of course, is important, is to ensure, I think this is the one at the end, create custom, yes, no. Yes, if it's custom, and if it's managed. Okay, so essentially, it'll probably be custom titles. And again, if they're hidden. But again, a lot of the details there you won't need to complete necessarily, but there's more information on that there. Okay, so again, and there's even comments on error messages that you may experience as well from time to time. So that is the upload feature. Again, you're limited to 2 GB of data. And once you've created the spreadsheet, you can browse for it. The format should be full text finder, and then you add the email address, and then you would upload accordingly. And of course, once you've done that, you can go back to the downloads feature and download it as needed. Okay. So also to point out, you can see you've got these quick links here. So you've got to submit a knowledge basic content inquiry form. Again, that's the same form we saw earlier. So it's accessible through the appropriate pages and also at the same time from this dashboard as well. Probably the final thing I'll show you, because I know we're nearing the hour mark, is the notes pages. So again, if there's any questions or comments or feedback so far, please put it in the Teams chat. If I need to unmute you, I can do so if you select the raised hand icon. But as well as having the links menu there and upload and download options are also there, we have the notes feature as well. So you can add notes to various publications, packages, and assign them where appropriate. So it could be, as you see here, a new publication. It could be available in print, ask your librarian. So if we look at this one, for example, you could see that this note has been created. This is the note name. This is the text that will display in Publication Finder or associated with Full Text Finder Link Resolver. So you can see this one is going to show in the Full Text Finder Link Resolver menu. It will also show on Publication Finder, and it has this icon. So there's an icon library you can select from. So just to clarify then, this one will be assigned to this one package. So print 2021. Which relates to these titles. So each of these titles will then have this note assigned to them. So whenever a user looks that up, they will see this note to say this is available in print, and they need to speak to the librarian. Okay. So again, if you want to add a note, you would simply click New Note here, give the note name, add the text that should be visible to the end user, and then you decide, should it be shown to unauthenticated users? So for guest access, maybe no. Show in Full Text Finder, so that's the Link Resolver menu, and show in Publication Finder. So yes, in both instances. You can add an icon URL if you prefer, or select the icon library. And you can add hover text as well. And if preferred, if you want users to go directly to a particular page in your library website, for example, or a contact point, there's a link URL you can add as well. So this is just something extra I wanted to show you, that it's possible to add notes in relation to certain titles, and it can be packages as well. Okay, I know there's a lot of information to take on board, but I will go back now to the PowerPoint. In fact, let me just show you this. What we do, we've got the help menu and support and training here. So go to help here from within EBSCOadmin. This takes you to various articles that relate to using this service. So again, the holdings management, supported column headings for upload and download, searching for packages or titles in holdings management, etc. And also within the, if I come back here, sorry, not this one. Not this one. I'll close these down, by the way. And EBSCOadmin again, sorry there. And so that's the help menu, takes you to EBSCO Connect and those various articles. And then support and training will take you to our EBSCO Academy page. And on here, you'll find additional training videos. So if you browse the collections here, then you'll find we've got Full Text Finder. And of course, this is part of that holdings management is part of Full Text Finder. And again, example, managing your collection in holdings management. So this was updated back in March. So again, you might want to follow up this session with this one, etc. You've also got collection assessment and holdings management as well, and Full Text Finder linking. So there are other videos that are available which detail other elements or beyond this session as well that are available. And if you have colleagues who are new to this, we have Full Text Finder basics as well there, and also searching and browsing in Publication Finder. So there's more information to be had there in support and training. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. Again, I've included some links in the slide deck. EBSCO Connect, we've just seen elements of that, and that has also tutorials that relate to using holdings management from the home page. So that's connect.ebsco.com. And for those, since you are in NHS England or working within England, then please go to the service desk. Okay. And then also you have the solutions pages available also through the service desk page or the Knowledge and Library Hub service desk, and that will give more information on using the various features in relation to maintain your collection. And then just to also again clarify, we have EBSCOadmin, which you've just seen, which you can link through holdings management through EBSCOadmin as well. Okay, I know there's a lot of detail there. You still may have some more questions. Obviously, you can contact me at iCrooks@ebsco.com. So any technical issues, again, you can report directly to the service desk. As I said, you've got the content inquiry form as well, the knowledge-based inquiry form that you can submit requests to as well. And also, especially if you wish to have content added to the knowledge base and it's not there currently. Thank you.